Hey, what's up, everybody? PDL44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Lakers. Still want to talk about the Lakers because, well, we dropped the ball as we've already talked about as much, and now the fallout from everybody talking about it is starting to slowly but surely come in. Um, really, the Los Angeles Lakers find themselves in a situation where now you got to move on from Kyrie. You got to listen to all the people talking about how they're unhappy about you not making the trade. What I'm curious about is what exactly am I looking at in regards to this? What I see is basically inactivity and a holding to the chest of these picks. And what I am not certain of fully at all is what it is that means. Does that mean Jeannie's done with LeBron James and Anthony Davis? Does that mean Jeannie's done with Anthony Davis? Does that mean Jeannie's done with LeBron James? Does that mean she's going to trade the picks in the next 3 days in a different deal? Does that mean she's willing to wait until the offseason and then trade the picks then? Is there a plan in place? Is there no plan in place? That's what it is for me. I just don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know what I'm looking at, and because of it, I can't assess it properly. I know what I'm seeing, but I don't know what's behind it or why. And it could be a million different things. So, like, I'm speculating. I think maybe she might be done with this core. If that's the case, holding on to assets makes sense. But do you have a plan for being done with the core? Do you know what? Do you want to move forward with Rob Pelinka as your executive president? And if so, did we just assess what just happened right now as part of that, or was that something that you had locked in before this went south? Do we blame him for it going south, or was that Jeannie ultimately saying, as being reported, that she just did not want to pay for 4 years of Kyrie Irving? If so, should we expect to hear anything in regards to that? Probably not, because the Lakers don't communicate with their fans. They talk at us, but not to us most of the time. So it's one of those situations where it's like I expect her to come out and say some real awesome PR stuff about how we're dedicated and committed to doing the best possible thing for LeBron James, and proceed to see him be unhappy every time it's time for a move to be made. He's miserable. I'm just tired of the cap, man. I'm tired of the cap. And for those who don't know that slang, I'm tired of the lies. It's just a bunch of lying, man. And you don't want to confuse what's coming your way in regards to the Lakers' name being used for publications and clickbait as the same thing as the Lakers telling you that they're going to do something, because that can get blurred. But that's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the fact that the Lakers keep telling us that they're going to bring certain things to us. They're going to make trades to bring the best players to us. They're going to make, as I said, make LeBron James happy is the most important thing, and she just wants him to be happy. I guess you're not meeting that want at all within yourself. You must be very disappointed, because that man isn't unhappy. You got about 3-4 million fans unhappy too. It's not just one thing making us unhappy. It's about 7-8 simultaneous things that just do not live up to Lakers standards. And so this is where, as a fan, I come in using my voice repeatedly to speak on what I think matters for the franchise, for the fans, our perspective, for the players, from what I understand it to be. And what I want the Lakers to do right now is to really consider what they're holding on to those picks for exactly. And to not just be overly confident that you are going to do the right thing with those picks just because you are holding on to it right now. It may very well come down to you giving up those picks at some other point to help yourself in another season where you're just going to end up mortgaging it anyway for something that's not as good as Kyrie Irving, for a core that's not as good as LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and it will be a year before 2027 or year 2029. You see what I'm saying? We're going to mess around and end up trading those picks in 2026 to save another team, you know what I mean? From these same problems. And it's like we mortgaged LeBron's future and could have got Kyrie Irving for these picks, or could have got Fred for these picks, or could have got whatever for these picks that would have really helped us for a couple years if we would have re-signed everything. Maybe would even help us keep the core if they're about to leave. And we let it all go out the window because we wanted to hold on to some picks that don't hold the same weight if we don't have LeBron James in place leading up to that any damn way. It's like, who are we going to be when those picks are drafted? Those picks are going to be what exactly? We've allowed the field and their desire to pull them off of us overrate those picks in our own pocket. I don't know if the Lakers realize that. You let the psychological way the market was playing you psych you out of what the picks were actually worth, which was a talent level of a guy like Kyrie Irving on an expiring contract. In my humble opinion, with the intention of re-signing him, taking into account his talent level, which is the elite, one of a kind, the best at something in the entire world, the best at something in the history of the sport. And didn't you say you wanted to bring us the best talent? He's the best ball handler in the world. You failed because you wanted to hold on to not so best talent, guys that we really like in Max Christie and Austin Reeves, but they're not the best at anything in the world. In the world, friends. This is why you give up everything that it was required to get Kyrie Irving, because you know whatever you're giving up, if you're thinking clearly, is worth it, because he's trying to help you win this year, which is ultimately the timeline. That's the time. That's the point. That's what all this is about. Because if you wait to the offseason to sign him, who's to say that LeBron even stays with you? Your timeline might be shot. You bring Kyrie Irving to a team where he's going to be the centerpiece. Ain't that defeat the purpose of what we're doing? And I think people are assuming LeBron James is going to sit here and wait to the offseason and choose us in the offseason as a team to start an entirely new season with, after being locked into the situation the way he has, and they ain't done nothing to make that olive branch that he offered by signing that extension make any damn sense, because he ain't get his running mate that he's supposed to be getting right here. And you going to wait to the offseason? Too late. He mortgaged this season for you. He could have asked out and found himself somewhere else to win this year, and now that's shot. Because you guys didn't want to give up some role players that y'all don't even want to play. Give up some picks that you're not going to see until after he's retired. Like me, I want those picks as much as anybody, but I don't want these guys hoarding them because of reasons that they got in their minds when they're not assessing him or Kyrie properly while doing so. I know I am, which is why I'm trading these picks for Kyrie Irving. You know, because I know what the picks are worth. I also understand that Kyrie could leave, which is why if I'm in their front office and somebody has a overriding of my opinion, I would then say it's wise to not make the deal based on the fact that we're not all that bullcrap that makes it make sense, so that you don't end up failing within the decisions made above you. But other than that, this ain't something I would choose. This ain't something I would choose at all. I would love to just say, look, Bron, I respect you, man. I appreciate what you've done for us. I don't want to mortgage these picks, but I get a chance to get a guy like Kyrie Irving. That's something I'm going to do. Because even if you're not here, if Kyrie Irving signed to a good contract, I could at least have something for myself that can maybe attract somebody else if all is well. And so that's my thing. It's like, if you're not going to do that with those two picks and you're just about to draft those things in 2027 and 2029, that is the only way I would be okay with us keeping them. I want to make myself clear. That's the only way I'm okay with us keeping them. If we have plans to keep them and draft them. Because otherwise, if we just skip the chance to get Kyrie Irving for these damn picks, and we end up trading them again later on, it better be something as good as Kyrie Irving. And whatever it is, I'm certain it won't be someone that has something that they're the best in the entire world at. You ain't gonna no. You're not gonna find that. That doesn't come around. Even Fred VanVleet ain't the best in the whole world at something. We got to take that into account, man. They got to take it into account while people are saying, well, he offended some people, or, well, he might have posted something that might have woke some other people up. Well, you're saying that about somebody who's better than everybody at something. Something. I don't know what it is, but, whatever it may be, dribbling the ball in this case, but regardless of what it is, he's elite. So if you're going to push him aside, you're also pushing aside the pinnacle of what it is that he does. The pinnacle of what it is that you do, rather, which is basketball, dribbling, all that. Yeah. So I'm not trying to really applaud the Lakers for overthinking this, man. Them picks were worth Kyrie's ability to dribble the ball, man. They were. They were. They were worth his dribbling elite skill level, man. I'm sorry. You're just misevaluating your talent. That's all this is. And then when you get Kyrie and you re-sign him for something, and if you don't like what you see there, you retrade him and his incredible skill level to another team like Dallas, who would be happy to take him on. That's all it is, man. And I understand people saying, well, that's not the case because he's going to be insubordinate. Hey, the presence of the environment for which he's angered does make it different in regards to its value. I know that. If they weren't in the way and this was just basketball on basketball, it wouldn't be no problem. But there's always going to be an entity in the way because that's just what this is. It's always going to be an entity in the way trying to control the athletes, control the minds of the black, whatever it is. It's always going to be somebody in the way trying to push against greatness, man. And greatness just has to overcome it at all times, man. No different. It just is what it is, man. And so that's what Kyrie's going to have to do, man. He's going to have to go down there and two-step in Texas for a couple seconds, not re-sign with him, which we all know is inevitable, and then see where he can try to land in a black belt balling environment that he's going to be in. Because if he's not prepared to get lowballed and not get those 4 years, he's in trouble, man. He better be ready for them to do this. They didn't already let him know by not trading him to the Lakers what they're about to do in free agency. It's inevitable. And I would tell him not to get caught off guard by it. Go through the process of dealing with that in your head now, because that's exactly what they're going to try to do to you. And if it doesn't happen, even better, because you would already been prepared for it. But be prepared for it is what I tell them, because they got it out for you, bro. They don't want to give you no more than $5 to play ball. They really don't. And you can see by the way the subordinates are acting again that they've been given the green light in a new script to hate you again. You could tell that by the way Stephen A. came back out here jumping on his back saying it's an idiotic move like he don't know what the hell's going on. It's just sad. But I already told you how I feel about ESPN. I'm just frustrated with them in regards to this. But they're going to get what they get. Now they get to root for Spencer Dinwiddie again. KD going to be out of there so fast. As soon as he's liberated from that place, we all going to celebrate. But at this point, they probably scared him into one that never asked for another trade demand. And they probably put all kinds of stuff on him to make sure he stay in place in Josiah land. It's awful, man. It's awful. Free KD, free LeBron James. For real. And y'all better be careful because Luka Doncic may not necessarily be happy about this. Everybody sitting up and saying Dallas did great, including myself. But then I look around and I say, how happy is... Listen. This is no different than DeJounte Murray and Trae Young coming together. This is no different. They did the same. The Dallas just did the same thing to Luka Doncic that Atlanta did to Trey Murphy. They brought him somebody that's basically going to do the same thing he does. That's going to dilute his star power to a degree. Dilute it to a degree. Now, Luka's still Luka. But you can't possibly tell me he's going to be able to dominate the ball the way that he has been and get the most out of his team when Kyrie Irving is a guy who needs the ball in his hand to do the same exact damn thing. It doesn't work. You know how I know it doesn't work? Because I saw the Rockets try it with Chris Paul and James Harden, Russell Westbrook and James Harden. Same play style. They're going to have to figure out some variation of that. It's going to be a two-man game with ISO. And even though Luka's an amazing passer and Kyrie has turned into a fantastic passer when he, is a part of his game, they ain't got nobody defending around him and all that stuff. That's a joke. He going to get the hell out of there, man. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays 20 games for this team. He might play 20 games for them, and he'll find some reason to not be there in Dallas. I'm telling you. I see that coming. He's not going to be happy. Kyrie is not going to be happy. We know how Kyrie is when he ain't happy. He ain't going to play. Something will come up. Something will come up. He ain't going to play. And it's not in his best interest to do that, by the way. I'm telling you what the tendencies show me. It's like you're going to get up there and it's going to be an unhappy environment and just something will come up, man. It's just how it works. It's just how it works, which is why Mark Cuban, I think, did this with the intention of being okay with him leaving. Because he know this fit ain't no good, man. You can sell it to people, but that ain't no different than what the Nets did. Selling you on the fact that the Nets are going to be a super team when they didn't have the structure to make it work. That's the same thing, dude. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. So we're going to see how it goes, man. They're going to have their eyes on Dallas. because the Cowboys are there. So he gonna get some of that Cowboy treatment off the strength of that's just in that area. So they'll be talking about the team a lot. They'll focus on Luka even more than they already did. And the good thing about Kyrie, I tell him, man, and this is the truth. This is the real truth. There's a chance you get the championship this year in spite of all this, because they will for sure officiate a Luka game differently, and you're going to definitely see some interesting defenses because people are not going to defend you the same way as they defend everybody else. Well, it's true. Check out both of the Laker games they played against Dallas. You ain't got to worry about no defense. We're going to make sure we small ball everything for you. So when you see us, just go ahead and run to the rim. We're going to lay the ball up. You can lay the ball up against us every time, because when we play the Mavericks, we have absolutely no interest in playing defense. The primary objective is to make sure all of our guards get playing time and Luka Doncic gets his numbers. It's just what it is. 2 games that I've already seen how that works. So there's a good chance that every team tends to do that to make sure Luka looks as great as he's supposed to look. And then from there, since Kyrie's in place now, maybe they could just get to the line 176 times a game and just ultimately knock teams off that way. So I think it's a good chance Kyrie gets more calls in Dallas than he's ever gotten in his life. I really believe that. I think he's going to love the officiating there. So that's one part of the situation that just ain't going to be talked about, but I think it's going to be a great perk to being a Maverick, because you for sure ain't getting them calls if you were a Laker, Kyrie. No, they ain't coming. You're going to get hit, clobbered, they're not going to call them. It's just how it goes for us. So that's the one thing, like I said, I really think Kyrie going to find himself in a situation where he'll probably land on his feet if he can not do what it is that I think his tendencies are going to tell us he's going to do, which is stay up there for a couple seconds, be unhappy, and then decide or something to walk away. Because at the end of the day, I do believe there will be some games to win. There'll be some games to win there. But as far as him coming out of the West and win the championship, not without the refs' help. Not without teams structuring themselves like the Lakers do to ensure that they have a chance to win, because they don't have enough talent. They don't. I do think they can make another move, but as I look at their asset class, I don't know what the heck they're going to move. None of that stuff is worth anything. Truthfully. None of it's really worth anything. They can probably try to match up Hardy, maybe try to match JaVale McGee or something like that. Who else, man? They got a couple guys who might be able to get them something. Maybe Roger Bullock. I don't know how desirable a piece like that really is in the league, honestly. And that's what Kyrie going to find out when he get up there at Dallas. He going to look at his teammates like, bro, are we serious? This is worse than what I had to start Brooklyn. And Luka going to be like, man, that's why I get the ball 176 times. It's me and you, and that's it. And that's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be him, and that's it. It's even less than what they had with Spencer Dinwiddie, because at least then they had Dorian Finney-Smith. This is, I do like the idea of maybe some more 3-point shots for a guy like, Hardaway. Hardaway, Kyrie Irving is interesting to me. As I think about it, that's interesting to me, because I know Hardaway can go for 30 if you leave him open. That's ridiculous. And Kyrie's going to draw more defenses away from him than probably Spencer Dinwiddie was able to, and Jalen Brunson. So that's more open shots for those guys, but nobody defending anything like at all. It's going to be it's not going to work. There's no way that works. Not without them making more moves that they probably can't make. So yeah, he's out of there, man. He ain't gonna stay in Dallas, I can promise you, unless they offer him a ridiculous max. He's not gonna see that as a basketball fit for himself. And I'll tell you something else. If he does sign a long-term deal, I'm curious to see what Luka thinks of that. If that fit doesn't necessarily seem seamless and they give Kyrie a bag, and you think Luka gonna be happy with that? I don't think Luka happy with this. I don't think he's happy at all. I think he sees it's a situation where you got to share the ball, and then even less defense available to help, even less rebounding available to him. This is a situation, man. This is a situation. I don't know what Luka thinks, man. But if I'm him, I'm very, very concerned about the play style, and I'm very, very concerned about their prospects for getting the right free agents if Kyrie walks. What type of team am I going to have if he does walk with 36? What they going to do with that 36? I don't know if I trust Dallas, man. I could stay there because they got the Dirk Nowitzki statue outside and everything's catered around me and I'm about to be the greatest Dallas Maverick. But what does that really mean, dude? What does that actually mean? It's Dirk Nowitzki, it's Rolando Blackman. What are we really talking about? As far as I can tell, Mavericks better get their crap together. Because if I'm Dirk, or rather Luka, I'm thinking about another way forth for myself. There are other bags to take. I could be a legacy player somewhere else. Being the greatest Dallas Maverick can be cool, but not surrounded by scrubs, bro. Y'all ain't got that type of history to make that make sense. It just doesn't. And so they better get it right. I don't know if Kyrie Irving helps, or rather fix the situation, but he'll definitely help. It points them in the direction of being a team that's willing to do the right things. So that would be a first for the Mavericks. I don't think I've ever seen them do anything like this. Not since the Nick Van Exel, Jason Terry championship days. I ain't seen them really do anything that made my eyebrows is even remotely raised until now. So congratulations to them once again. Like I said, I don't think they care they gave up anything they did. And I don't think there's any downside to picking up Kyrie. So this is just a win for them. If I'm going to give anybody an A, it would be them. The Brooklyn Nets, I like the return better than I'd like to admit. As I've been saying all day, that's a good return for the Nets. I'm not the guy that said they got fleeced. Not in this particular deal, nah. Not based on what I thought Kyrie's contract was and based on all the stuff surrounding his name. I probably wouldn't have wanted to give up too much unless I was the Lakers. But that's because I absolutely understand the entire environment there. And I know I probably wouldn't have 2 or 3 tries to negotiate, man. And that's another thing I heard that was what's being reported, which was something I speculated, that we gave a low ball effort at first thinking they were going to go back to another team and they come back to the table with us. And they came back to the table saying we got them traded. Thank you very much. That kind of thing. And it's like if you don't read the room properly, you'll think that you're the most important player in the room, and it's really another agenda that's more important than your bid. And so that's what the Lakers ran into today. And I think they just probably, was cheap, just like I speculated. They were cheap, So that's what happens, man. Now we move forward and we blast the front office for being too cheap. We blast the front office for not making right decisions. We continue doing the same stuff that we've been doing because honestly, that's all there is left to do, man. But I'm not sure what I'm looking at. And if this is indeed Jeanie signaling to all of us that she's turning the page on all of this, including Rob Pelinka, which this could be very well the case because she ain't letting him make any moves with her assets. And that's exactly what I told you I would do if I was getting ready to fire him. He wouldn't be touching nothing. He wouldn't be trading nothing. And so that's why I'm saying I'm not sure what I'm looking at. If that's the case, I'm excited. If that's the case, I'm happy. But you gotta, you don't know what that looks the same way as a billion other things look. But I'm telling you, this would be what it looks like if I were behind the scenes and I had plans of firing Rob Pelinka at the end of this season. You would see what you saw right now. Me not make a trade for Kyrie Irving, even though it makes sense, because I don't want him touching none of my assets anymore. He can move some second-round picks to get Hachimura, but he ain't moving nothing big because he is out. And we would just ride this out to the end of the season. Y'all just going to be pissed off about it. And then you'll proceed to hear about him being fired around July. And if it all plays out that way, then you heard this speculation here first. Because this is exactly what it would look like. And I wouldn't say nothing because I don't want to signal nothing to Pelinka or anybody. I ain't trying to tell anybody nothing. I'm just sitting back saying, yep, nobody's moving. I'm not giving okay to anything. But you'll see what my real plan is when them changes come through. I'm going to change everything but the colors around here. BDL 44. Thank y'all for watching. Kobe Minute. Salute.